Welcome back to Cracking on the Sun, and in the words of Craig David, here we are again today making a Love Island podcast again.
We were making Love Island pod on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday,
but
but not Saturday.
No. No. We like a day off, don't we?
Oh, yeah. Well, the Islanders obviously famously get a day off, don't they?
That's true, yeah. That
so
is true.
Us too.
To get pampered.
They do, don't they?
They're going to come back looking better on the Monday or the Sunday night.
I love that. I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, big show last night.
Yeah.
And we've got a major update about something else that happened. So stay tuned for that, a bit of behind the scenes gossip, so we can share that with you later. But first of all, I think we need to go right back to man of the moment, Craig David.
Oh, he was just brilliant, wasn't he?
Aww.
And I think that it was a good way of like getting involved without it being, like the Rita Ora moment of like being across in the pool and it all being very awkward, as if she was just performing and she didn't actually know who she was performing to. He was really in amongst it. He was shaking hands with Anton. It was just a moment, I felt, and I love him and I love Wes and I love that song actually.
Oh my God, it's Wes Wilson! It's your ex, bro! Oh, that's awkward, isn't it?
I thought it was quite good, actually. I mean, not my cup of tea, but yeah. Also, I think the thing which completely passed everyone by until Arabella started talking about it quite loudly. Obviously, for her fairly significant ex, they lived together, didn't they?
Yeah.
They were together a year? A while?
Oh, yeah, a while.
Yeah.
And then I don't think it ended very well. It was all quite sudden. And I did feel for her, actually, because it is awkward, especially when you're ignored. And there was a real moment of just, Arabella who? It was just, he's the man of the moment and she's not bothered at all. So I would not like that.
We must make sure that we ask the next person to come out that villa, was there anything we didn't see on the show? Because he must have gone like, hey, there must have been like a high moment, because Arabella didn't seem like gutted about it. She was just like, cringe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they must have said hi. Let's make a note to find that out.
Yes. Detective Devlin on the case.
Yes. I love that. Now I have to ask you.
Right, who's got a bronzer?
I'm having this conversation with my man.
I'm only doing it because it's a big night, okay?
No, of course, babe. Craig's coming, like, obviously.
The way that Anton was behaving about Craig David, surely that would give any woman the ick.
It was. I actually found last night's episode really quite painful to watch. Like it made my body. I had a physical reaction to all of the cringe. I don't even know where to start with Anton. I think all I've got on my notes is just Anton. Being Anton, it's just so peak being Anton vibes in that episode. Him putting on bronzer for Craig David, what a moment for him.
Yeah.
He was so excited. And
Georgia's like, I get it, babe, Craig's coming.
But how, really, Georgia? I mean, I think she must be just playing a blinder of the game.
Or is she just really that into him?
No.
We've talked about this before.
No.
I don't think Georgia Harrison is that good an actress. Maybe she is just that into him.
It was just the way that when Craig started singing and he went to kiss Georgia, but then it was a side cheek situation, and it was like, why have you just done that? And it was the excitement of Craig David, and I thought, who would he rather be with, Georgia Harrison or Craig David? I think there's no competition.
Yeah. It's like, do you remember when Dr. Alex, in his final epic date with Alexandra, was in that red Ferrari?
Yeah.
And everyone said it was like Alex went on a date with a Ferrari. Because
he was just raving about that more than anything else.
And I completely agree. I think that's how I would summarise last night. It's like Anton was coupling up with Craig David. Yeah. But Craig David, bless him, good sport.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
The nation's sweetheart.
I don't even think Anton likes Craig David that much. He just knows it's a thing. He knows it's his Love Island thing.
I know he got a handshake, but he didn't get any sort of shout out. I feel like there should have been more made of
Not even
them.
a fist bump.
No, it was nothing.
Business-like.
I think obviously he doesn't care, does he? Really, about Anton. But Anyway, so there was loads. Anyway, we've got more Anton stuff to come up later on.
I've got some Anton news for you.
Oh.
So I think we will really and truly find out how Georgia feels about Anton, because tonight they go to the hideaway.
Yes.
And I know that we don't see much these days, but I think that arguably their relationship is at a stage where we might expect there to be a bit of physical action between them. So we'll see.
So what are you thinking though? What's the bet?
I think we'll be able to tell the vibe immediately when she invariably goes into the Ann Summers closet, fetches whatever situation's going on, and then comes out, and I think we'll know in that moment if this is real or not.
Yeah.
Because, like we said before, body language can't lie. We'll know what's going on.
I just think that she gives it away with her face all the time. I mean, she's really trying. I'll give her that. A for effort to try and like him, but it's just not happening. She's really struggling.
Yeah.
But is she thinking, right, there's only 10 days left. I can get through this. They could potentially win it. Because she knows how popular he is.
Yeah.
And she'll know that her dumping him now would be a travesty.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not going to happen.
Oh, I feel like we both feel a bit sad about the situation.
Yeah, no, very. I'm invested. But speaking of dumping,
Yeah.
we had the Joanna and Chris very, very awkward breakup. Is it a breakup at that point? They've been speaking for like 2 days, and it was all very serious.
Yeah.
Is Chris really that soft as he claims to be, or is he just milking it for a bit of attention? I just think, can he really be that sort of sad about someone you're just chatting to?
I think it's like the sort of culminative. It happens every time, and he obviously knows exactly what it is. He knows that it's his sense of humour, and he knows it was the speech. But as he sort of said to her, "This is just who I am. Like, I've been this person for 33 years," and I think we can swiftly see that this is probably why every single relationship has gone wrong for Chris. And I guess he's probably having like a massive moment of self-reflection.
I don't think he is.
You don't think he is
No,
at all?
I don't think he is at all. I think him in his reply saying, "This is just who I am. Like, no, I'm not going to change." There's no self-reflection at all. He just wants someone to come in and accept him, which, fair enough. But if it's not working for you and you really are getting sad every time, maybe you do need to self-reflect and think.
But if it's something as fundamental to who you are as just like your sense of humour, can you change your sense of humour?
I don't think it's the sense of humour part. I think it's like this constant sarcasm, not being serious in his feelings. Everything's a joke.
But he was, I sound like the Chris fan club, but he was in that boat date with Arabella. He did get quite serious.
Yeah.
And, he did sort of say, obviously, I do.
And then he dumped her, so this is
Yeah.
karma.
No, I know, and I'm massively, as you know, on board the Bella Chi karma train. I don't know. I think what's really interesting is we are going to have a little chat with an actual psychologist, not just the cracking on Psychology Inc. that we do, who I think...
I love that we've made this happen.
I know.
She turned it.
But because...
Psychology series.
I mean, us, Flick and Amanda Devlin sat here, I don't know why I full named you, to make you sound professional. Doing our psychology bit is one thing, but hearing from like an actual, registered professional, I think will be really interesting.
Who actually knows what they're talking about that would be
Defo.
better.
So stay tuned for that one.
We've got a lot to ask her about with Chris then, because I think there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. But also I really want to make sure that we dig into the Molly and Callum, because I remain obsessed with them getting back together.
Totally.
I know we had less evidence about that last night, but I'm still not really feeling her and Tom.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm completely bored.
The other ones that I'm still a bit not really sure what's going to happen, but I think we've got a week left, so it will probably be a coast to the final situation, is Jess and Eve.
Ugh, so boring.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've got something really fun to tell you there about Eve.
Okay.
A bit of goss. So Jess has always, so as we know, she got to the final with Ched. They lasted for a couple of months, and then we've not really heard much about Jess's dating life on the outside, and that's because she's dated just normal people. Whereas Eve, however, has massively lent into sort of dating in the spotlight, and we know that she was linked to Kylie Jenner's baby daddy Tiger, but I could tell you someone else.
Oh, who?
And I think it's a goodie.
Yeah.
Jason Derulo.
No way.
Yeah.
I love him.
I know. Now, obviously, he's now got a baby with someone else, and this was, I must say, before all of that situation.
Okay, yeah.
No wrong
How
was
did she
done.
meet Jason Derulo?
I know. But basically, Eve gets the guys.
Yeah.
And
Eve does seem to be the twin that kind of gets more dating action than Jess, or is it just because Jess is keeping it quiet, like you said? But
Yeah.
I don't know. She seems to be the more popular one in the villa as well.
Yeah. And I find that really interesting as twins.
Yeah.
That I do think they look slightly different.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Do that-
Jason Derulo.
That was speaking of looking different. You know when Callum
Oh,
said,
You do look different though. The last time I seen you, I feel like you blossomed.
I've blossomed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, you are 4 years older.
4 years older, 4 years better.
what a gent, though.
Callum saying, "Oh, you know, you look really different. Like, you know, did you say grown up?
You've bloomed, blossomed.
I mean, is it that? I don't know. I'm not one to judge that. She looks fantastic either way. But I think, you know, those two twins have like been really open about getting a lot of work done and transforming themselves. That they've sort of like childhood pictures of them and they look so different.
Yeah, there's been some bits and bobs.
But the way that he managed to say that was just so innocent and cute.
Yeah.
I've really taken to Callum. I think I slagged him off on the first podcast.
Yeah, I think we said he was boring.
But, well, he kind of maybe is a little bit. He is a cup of tea, but I love a cup of tea.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm gonna admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong about Callum.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that we should look back to the first podcast.
Oh God.
And compare our initial. I mean, certainly Chris Taylor is one. Straight up gushing about that man, wasn't I? And now, obviously, here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking about here we are, let's talk about something big that's coming up in the villa.
Yeah.
A double dumping.
Yeah.
So
we were speaking yesterday. I think the producers are listening to us because they thought obviously we need to get a move on here and start kicking them out.
Yeah.
We've only got 10 days to go.
Yeah.
We need to chuck 2 out in once. Because actually, do you know what? In my chat with Marcel yesterday, he said, "Isn't Kaz the first person to go out on their own?" I feel like she is. Everyone else has been in a couple.
Yeah.
And he felt sad for her for
Jake.
that.
But obviously that was
but
by
that's not the
choice.
same. That's not the same. But yeah, everyone else has gone out in their couple and had their sort of couple
Yeah.
interview together and and had that person to leave with, whether it was romantic or not. And she was the only one to have to stand up in front of the fire pit on her own. I didn't like that.
No.
I
Kaz. So I think that's really juicy. So they've already left the villa. We know that already. And I don't think it's going to be shown in tonight's show. Obviously, the edit situation, things get phased across different episodes depending on the drama that's going on. And
But I think then we might be able to guess. It might be one of those situations.
Yeah.
Because it all plays out in a game, doesn't it?
well, I was shocked when I found out who had gone.
Okay.
And before we knew the mechanics of how with the game,
Yeah.
I thought, that's strange. How has that happened? So I think it's going to be a really interesting one that you'll all be talking about. But should we talk about the game?
Yes. Yeah.
So the game that's going to be played tonight is All-Star Couple Goals. So the questions are things like couple who have the least sexual chemistry, all those kind of ones that always get the rows going. But one that I think is really funny is couple that will go to the most red carpets.
That's a good one.
I know. And what I think is really fun, and they all have a lot of fun with it, is most of the votes go for Joe and Arabella. And the joke that they all make is that, Joe, surely all of your shoes, the soles are dyed red because you're on so many red carpets. And they say, like, Joe and Arabella, you literally are the red carpet.
Oh. When you look like that as a stunning pair, then I think, yeah, go for it. You need, if you got it, flaunt it.
Yeah,
And,
I know.
Yeah, they need to. It's really funny. I love this because it's so revealing, but it does cause arguments, as we've seen in previous games. Georgia still just took huge offence to, you know, being called out for, you know, maybe being in there for followers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just find it so hilarious that we've got like the kind of insider information that they have that within each other, like how they actually have spotted who's going to more events, and they kind of talk about that and gossip. It's funny.
Do you know one moment? And my question to you is, snaky or not snaky?
Yeah.
When Georgia went,
Snaky.
is that the? Now, do you say that because you know what I'm about to say, or are you saying that because you think that her intention's always snaky?
Well, mostly, yeah. I mean, I'll be proved wrong if it's not, but it was the Molly thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I was going to say, when she was like, "Is that the first time you've done that, Molly? Is that the first time you kissed
I don't think she
Joe?"
did actually repeat it as well.
Which is what.
But the funny bit was that afterwards she was like, "Oh, sorry, Mol, it just slipped out." I'm like,
no, it didn't. You said it twice.
yeah.
And if something slips out, you just go, "Oh, not the first." Oh.
There was more sneaky behaviour from her last night, and we have said we're a fan of hers. We love Georgia. I think the show would be
100%.
awful without her.
100%.
No, not awful, but you know, it would miss her because she's got this. She's just TV gold, and I don't think she's actually faking that. I think that that's her actual personality, and she's just kind of that. She's just not aware of herself at all. But when she tattletaled on Joanna and
When she was like, mini fire pit for Joanna and Callum having a
and
chat.
then Chris couldn't see, and so it could have just been like, okay, well, fair enough, like, or he's not interested. She was like, but it's Joe and it's Callum.
Yeah.
And I thought, why have you just slanted the minute and upset Chris? And then he went into a sort of spiralling meltdown. Didn't
Yeah, he did. Oh, God, love her.
But yeah, there was a lot of ick last night, though.
She's the MVP of the series, I think.
She's brilliant.
Man of the match.
I think the
all
two
those
things that I'm taking away from everything this series so far is Georgia Steele and all of this behaviour, and then it's just the ick that I've said it so many times, because I get it from Chris majorly and Anton in different ways, but I think the Chris situation last night, I just found the way that he even sort of spoke to Joe about it was just odd. Don't you think? The way he came across. Like, it was really defensive.
I think he needs a load of therapy. We'll get him in.
Yeah, let's get him in.
Get him into cracking on.
He might not come in because of what we said about him.
Oh, no. Well, I will just play him the early ones where I gush about him.
Yeah. Send him like a little highlight reel rather than the low light reel.
Oh, Chris Taylor. Right, you spotted some funny bits.
Yes. So obviously it's all Anton related, really. Him with his makeup, obviously for Craig David, bronzer, and he was really going for it, wasn't he? Can
I ask you a question? Do you think he wanted to put bronzer on for Craig?
Yeah.
Or do you think he wanted to put bronzer on because he knew he'd be on the camera a lot because of it being Craig?
Just for Craig. Just for
well,
Craig.
I love that then. No ick for that.
And then him grabbing that mic to do his speech to Georgia.
Oh, yeah, they didn't need the mic.
Why did he have the mic?
No.
What? I just kept looking at him thinking, why have you got that mic in your hand?
Yeah.
And he was just really over-egging it. And I thought, if I was Georgia, I'd be looking at him and I would just want to die. Like, I just couldn't cope with it.
Yeah.
Sorry, are you being offended by what I'm saying?
No, I'm just trying to I was actually just thinking of a time when a boy once did this, nothing nice, but did a sort of like public display of affection type situation for me, and I wanted to die.
I don't think it's necessarily the public thing. I just think it just feels so forced and rushed. Unless there's a lot that we're not seeing.
Well, they have a really nice chat tonight in the hideaway, by all accounts. It's not just Georgia parading around in her smalls. I don't know. I think
talking, is it more talking herself into it?
I genuinely think tomorrow morning we're either going to sit here and say, I believe it now, or we're going to go, no. And I'm...
From the hideaway?
Yeah. We should do it like a proper Oxford Union debate.
Yes.
And have no valid points to make.
Just waffle on like we do, really. Also, so the whole awkward Wes Arabella reunion and him kind of ignoring her, I don't know if you spotted, I have, because of what's happened to me on this podcast where you've just looked over and I've got lipstick on my teeth.
Yeah.
It happened with Arabella.
Oh my God,
But
no.
no one told her. So it kept, like, the camera kept going on to her.
Yeah.
And she's beaming, like, sort of trying to catch his eye. And, you know, I thought she was really nice about him. She said she even kind of liked the song. I'd have been like, oh, that was shit. But she was there, like, with lipstick all over her teeth doing that. And the camera just kept going onto it and, like, really zooming in. And I thought that was a shame.
Shame on you producers for not being like, stop. You've got lipstick on your teeth.
They should have done.
Yeah, they should have done.
Yeah. And also, Tom, who is never the main character. He's always in the background. He's always really quiet and chilled, talking about, you know, that girl. I love the girl. I like the girl. Is that a good accent? Northern accent?
No, awful.
And yeah, he was in charge of taking the picture of the group with Craig Davids and Wes. But it just looked like it was just a selfie of Tom and there was like some background characters in there. Like, it's not about Craig David at all. It's the Tom show.
You know
and I
why?
kind of loved it.
6'5".
6'5". I just feel like he's just got himself in the prime. He looks amazing, and he's kind of just been like, oh, these guys have got to be in the background. Like,
Can you imagine being a person that can literally just get through life because of just how you look?
Yeah, no personality.
Just being 6'5". Imagine.
I wouldn't want to be 6'5" myself, but
No.
yeah. To have all of that and not have to really bother about making an effort.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. What I'm really excited about is you're having a chat with someone, which we'll have on the podcast coming up, who will be able to really dig into the relationships in terms of how they're going as well. Relationship coach.
Yes.
Supreme, aren't you?
Yes. So I'm speaking with Paul Brunson, who is, you might know him from Married at First Sight or Celebs Go Dating.
Yeah.
So he's obviously got a lot, a lot of experience in that field. And I thought there was a question you asked yesterday about, do you think it's like the fault of the producers or something if they're not getting it right, for Kaz, for instance.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask him that and see whether he thinks that it is about like who's actually in there or if it's about how they're approaching it. They're shutting people down too soon.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be interesting to get his take on all of that.
Definitely.
And I want to ask him about Molly and Callum and say, could we have made this work between them?
Yeah, that's my number one question.
Yeah, no, it's
for
what I
Detective
think about
Devlin.
every day.
And guys, let us know your questions if you've got any for Paul Brunson, because as we know, he is the king of kisses and all sorts, and he can make it work. So, what relationship problems do you want him to fix in that villa? Mine is just Molly and Callum.
Okay. Let us know. It'd be good to ask him.
Yeah, Detective Devlin's on the case. So I've got one more thing that I wanted to talk to you about.
Uh-huh.
We've spoken before about all these islanders that are like, oh, I'm at the airport, guys. Where do you think I'm going?
Yeah.
The one this week that has given me the biggest ick, Davide.
Oh, it was so grim.
It was
so grim.
awful.
And it was after we'd spoken about it. And I saw and I thought, well, he's clearly not listened to this podcast.
No, Davide.
Has he? And it was tragic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And then it's the leaving of the careful leaving of enough time offline for it to look legitimate. And obviously we now know he's in Italy. He's there for a brand shoot. And
I don't know why they do it just to then let down their fans. It just doesn't make sense.
I
to me.
know. And it's like, are you literally just doing this for this, like the one article on thesun.co.uk and the Mail Online and so on of Davide Airport, Love Island? Oh, I don't know. I mean, look, what we're very much hearing is that he's not going in. But as we know, things change every hour. So you never know.
He's obviously putting the feelers out and trying to
Yeah,
bag
please
himself a place.
pick me. That's terrible.
That That was even worse than my northern.
That's terrible. So that's the one that's given, never mind Anton and giving you the ick. Davide's giving me the ick.
What do you hope to see from the challenge tonight? Oh, did you say something else to me? Did you ask me something? Because I just kind of blanked you.
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were like, I thought you asked a question and then you went to someone just, no, I don't care. I'm just talking about my own thing.
Yeah, that's Chris Taylor move.
It really was. So what from tonight, so this couple goals thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's Georgia Steele and Toby who were hosting it, which I thought was kind of ironic because are they couple goals?
No. I almost think they've done that to try and avoid it turning into an argument.
Yeah. So they don't get to be involved at all.
No, they are
a host.
involved.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't worry, they're involved.
They're the best ones to do it. Yeah. The kind of questions that you mentioned, it kind of what it leads up to is this kind of least compatible, and then Jama suddenly walks in.
Yes, we're getting some Maya tonight,
Which I'm excited about because I keep saying this. She's just not really been much of a presence in this series.
No.
And I was asking someone, I can't remember which Islander it was, we were chatting and I said, I just really miss Maya. It was Mitch, I think. And he just said, well, she is around. So obviously they feel like they see her a lot, but I think he's just maybe dreaming about her or, because we've not, she's doing the very, very short interviews at the end. But she's not getting her kind of moment. But tonight that changes. And there she walks in looking stunning as usual.
Yeah.
And she's there to deliver some bad news.
She is.
Yeah, and it's all kind of leads up from the game.
Yeah.
So. Oh God, you want to say something?
I
but
do
you
want
can't.
to say something, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to ruin it.
It's hard, isn't it? Because you do want to know, but also I like the surprise element of when you watch it. And if it is, if you're saying it is a shock of who goes, it is nice to just wait and find out.
I think so. And I. The thing that I'm thinking about is that, we've talked before about how Maya's outfits feel like they've taken a bit of a dial down.
Yeah.
She shared that text the other day with Stormzy where he said, yes, that's professional, yet sexy. And I had a quick look back across Maya's wardrobe. We're seeing a lot of white, a lot of bridal white. Tonight's white. Ooh. And it's lacy. And that's the third, which I'm going to call bridal inspired. So I feel like Maya's Easter egging Stormzy.
Yes. How many hints can she drop?
Yeah.
It's like, look how great I look in white. Like
my nails look really nice today. Because that's the couple that everyone really wants to see, isn't it? I know. I love that.
They're the best.
I know.
Oh, they could do it in the Love Island villa over there. If he flies out, can you imagine?
No,
the
Amanda,
hysteria.
no. Like Maya, who is Vogue, bougie queen, and Stormzy, I think they do like a rent out.
Yeah, they won't get married at her work, will they, I guess?
No.
But it would be nice.
That would
for
be
us.
like, can you imagine getting married in this room? No offence to this room or our employers. Anyway.
On that bombshell. So we'll be back again tomorrow for a...
Yeah, so the things that I'm really, really excited to talk to you about is whether we believe in Georgia and Anton post hideaway action, and we won't see the dumpings. We can't talk about that. But we can have our predictions.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fairly obvious though, but you're saying it's a shock. Let's battle it out tomorrow.
I don't think it's obvious, but we'll see.
Okay.
Join us then for all of that and more.